My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me, because this message was not meant for everyone. I hid it for a reason. I protected this moment because what I am about to release over your life cannot be handled by every eye around you. Some people would misunderstand it. Some would speak against it before it fully unfolds. Some would try to pour fear into the very thing I prepared to heal you. That is why I am asking you now, do not tell anyone about this yet. Keep your heart quiet before me tonight, because midnight is carrying something sacred for your life. You have suffered in silence for far too long. You became so used to carrying pain quietly that even the people closest to you stopped noticing the heaviness in your spirit. You learned how to smile while your heart quietly collapsed behind the scenes. You learned how to comfort others while secretly wondering who would comfort you. You became strong for everyone around you, but deep inside, exhaustion slowly wrapped itself around your soul. And still, through every hidden battle, I watched you. I saw every tear you wiped away before anyone could notice. I heard every prayer whispered into the darkness when loneliness became too heavy to carry. Tonight I need you to understand something important. Your breakthrough was never lost. It was sealed. There's a difference between something being delayed and something being destroyed. The enemy wanted you to believe heaven forgot about you. Darkness wanted you to think your prayers were disappearing into silence. Fear whispered that your season would never change, that your suffering would continue forever, that your waiting had no purpose. But none of those lies carried truth. What I promised you was never canceled. I simply hid it until the appointed moment arrived. And my child, midnight is that moment. This is why your spirit feels restless tonight. This is why your heart feels pulled toward these words. Heaven is moving around your life in ways you cannot yet fully see. The atmosphere surrounding your future is shifting quietly while the world around you remains unaware. And before midnight strikes, I needed your attention, because what is about to happen next will require faith deeper than fear. It will require trust stronger than doubt. It will require obedience before understanding. That is why I called you here personally tonight. My child, there are seasons when I intentionally hide blessings while preparing my children for what is coming next. Not because I want to punish them, but because hidden things are protected things. A seed hidden beneath the ground grows roots before anyone sees fruit. A child hidden within the womb develops strength before entering the world. Even my greatest works often begin in secret before they become visible publicly. And the breakthrough prepared for your life has been hidden for the same reason. It needed protection while heaven prepared the exact timing for release. You cried because you thought nothing was happening. You looked at your situation and saw silence, delay, closed doors, and unanswered prayers. But while you were mourning what you could not see, I was carefully sealing your future away from destruction. There were people who could not follow you into your next season. There were attacks that needed to be blocked before your breakthrough arrived. There were lessons your spirit needed to learn before your hands could safely hold what you prayed for. So I kept certain things hidden while your faith matured in the waiting. I know there were moments when you almost gave up. Moments when disappointment became so heavy that even hope felt exhausting. You asked me many times, why does it feel like you are silent? But my beloved child, heaven was never inactive during your suffering. I was moving behind closed doors. I was rearranging situations you could not yet understand. I was healing wounds inside you that would have destroyed future blessings if they remained untreated. And now, after all the waiting, after all the tears, after all the lonely nights, the hour of release is finally approaching. Midnight carries spiritual meaning far deeper than human understanding. Midnight is the place where old seasons end and new seasons begin. It is the hour when chains begin breaking quietly before morning arrives. It is the moment when heaven moves while the world sleeps unaware. Many people fear midnight because darkness surrounds it. But my child, I have always used dark hours to reveal my greatest power. I opened prison doors at midnight. I answered cries at midnight. I shifted destinies at midnight. And tonight I am preparing to move over your life again. That is why this message feels urgent. Time is moving quickly around your destiny. You cannot continue carrying the same emotional chains into the next season I prepared for you. Fear must break. Doubt must loosen its grip. Hopelessness must leave your spirit. Because what I am releasing over your life cannot exist comfortably beside the old pain trying to imprison your thoughts. Your heart must prepare itself to receive what heaven already decided to release. Say amen. I'm stepping into my season of favor if you feel heaven opening over you. The enemy fought hard to keep you away from this moment. Darkness sent distractions. Fear filled your mind repeatedly. Weariness attacked your spirit because the enemy understood something you often forgot. Your life carries purpose. Your prayers carry power. Your future carries influence. And if you fully step into the calling prepared for you, many chains around your bloodline will begin breaking permanently. That is why the attacks against your peace became so intense. It was never only about your present pain. It was about stopping your future breakthrough before it arrived. But the enemy failed. You are still here tonight. Still listening. Still searching for me despite every painful season you survived. Do you understand how important that is? It means your spirit refused to die even while suffering in silence. It means heaven preserved you through battles that should have destroyed your hope completely. It means my hand remained over your life even during the seasons when you felt forgotten. And now, because you endured, you are standing at the edge of a moment that will begin shifting everything. My child, I know you feel tired. I know emotional exhaustion has become familiar to you. There were days when simply surviving felt like your greatest accomplishment. You carried responsibilities while your spirit quietly begged for rest. You encouraged others while secretly wondering if anyone truly understood your own pain. And little by little, silence became your hiding place because explaining your suffering felt impossible. But tonight I am ending that hidden suffering. Tonight I am stepping directly into the silent places of your heart with healing in my hands. I need you to guard this moment carefully. Do not rush to tell everyone what I am speaking into your spirit. Not every ear deserves access to what heaven is preparing privately. Some things grow stronger in silence before they are revealed publicly. Let your breakthrough mature beneath my covering first. Let your faith deepen before outside voices try to interfere with what I am building inside you. This is sacred ground tonight, my child. Redacted. You are closer to breakthrough than you realize. Closer than the fear in your mind tells you. Closer than your circumstances appear to show. Heaven already decided your suffering would not last forever. Heaven already marked this midnight as significant over your destiny. And what I am preparing to release cannot be stopped by delays, by enemies, by your past mistakes, or by the doubts that once tormented your thoughts. So before midnight arrives, open your heart fully before me. Lay down the pain you carried silently. Lay down the exhaustion, the fear, the disappointment, the loneliness, and the hopelessness. Because what I sealed for you is beginning to open. The breakthrough you thought was lost has been waiting for its appointed hour. And tonight, my precious child, the hour is finally approaching. My beloved child, this moment was never accidental. Before your eyes opened to these words tonight, heaven had already arranged this encounter. You may believe you simply found this message while passing through another ordinary night, but I tell you now, nothing about this moment is ordinary. I called you here intentionally because the suffering you carried in silence has reached its limit. I have watched you endure quietly for too long, and tonight I refuse to remain silent while your spirit continues carrying burdens that were never meant to crush your heart. Do not tell anyone about this yet. Keep this moment close to your soul because there are sacred things that must remain hidden before they are fully revealed. Not every person around you understands what heaven is preparing over your life. Some people only know the version of you that smiles in public while secretly fighting private battles. They never saw the nights you cried alone. They never heard the prayers whispered through exhaustion. They never witnessed the silent warfare surrounding your spirit. But I saw all of it. I watched every lonely moment. I listened to every unspoken question hiding behind your silence. My child, this is a divine appointment between you and me. That is why your heart feels different while reading these words. Something inside your spirit recognizes my voice even before your mind fully understands what is happening. I am speaking directly into the hidden places you tried to protect from pain. I am stepping into the silent chambers of your soul where fear, disappointment, and exhaustion quietly lived for far too long. And tonight, before midnight arrives, I am preparing to release something over your life that cannot be stopped once heaven sets it into motion. You have asked me many times why your life felt delayed. You questioned why certain doors remained closed while others around you seemed to move forward easily. There were moments when you believed your breakthrough disappeared completely. You looked at the silence around your prayers and assumed heaven forgot your name. But my precious child, your breakthrough was never lost. It was sealed, hidden, protected, reserved for an appointed moment that could not arrive until your spirit was prepared to receive it fully. There are blessings too sacred to release publicly before the proper time. There are miracles that must grow in hidden places before they can survive exposure. Even seeds remain buried beneath the ground before fruit appears above the surface. And in the same way, I kept certain things hidden over your life because the enemy was watching your destiny closely. Darkness recognized your calling long before you understood its depth yourself. That is why spiritual attacks surrounded your peace. That is why confusion tried to cloud your mind repeatedly. That is why emotional exhaustion kept pressing against your spirit. The enemy hoped suffering would make you abandon the future I prepared for you. But despite everything you endured, you are still here tonight. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. Do you understand how important that is? After all the disappointments, after all the tears, after all the loneliness and silent battles, your spirit still searched for me. Even when hope became weak, you continued reaching toward heaven. Even when your faith trembled, something deep inside you refused to fully let go. And because you endured, you have arrived at a moment heaven prepared long ago. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing unfolding over your life. My beloved child, I know there were nights when silence became unbearable. You prayed and waited, yet nothing around you seemed to change. Your heart grew tired from carrying unanswered questions. You smiled in front of people while secretly wondering whether your future would ever shift. You encouraged others while your own soul quietly begged for comfort. And little by little, suffering became so familiar that you stopped expecting immediate change. You learned how to survive pain instead of believing for freedom. But tonight I am interrupting that cycle. I did not create you to spend your life trapped inside emotional darkness. I did not form you merely to survive disappointment after disappointment while carrying hidden sorrow. I created you with purpose. I breathed destiny into your soul before you were born. And the breakthrough prepared for your future carries greater weight than the suffering trying to destroy your faith now. That is why I hid this moment carefully. Not everyone around you could handle what heaven is about to release. Some people would speak doubt over your breakthrough before it fully unfolds. Some would misunderstand the transformation beginning over your life. Some would become jealous because they only saw your current struggles but never understood the spiritual preparation happening beneath the surface. So I kept certain things hidden intentionally. I protected your breakthrough while preparing your heart quietly in the secret place. There were seasons when isolation frustrated you deeply. You wondered why relationships change. You questioned why certain people suddenly disappeared from your life. You felt lonely while watching others surrounded by support. But my child, some separations happen because your next season could not be entered carrying every voice from your old one. I removed distractions before they could interfere with what heaven planned to release over your destiny. You cried over closed doors without realizing those doors protected your future. You mourned delayed answers without understanding those delays were shielding your spirit from premature blessings. If I had released certain things earlier, the weight of them would have crushed the version of you that existed back then. So I waited. I prepared you slowly. I strengthened your discernment through painful seasons. I taught your spirit endurance through waiting. And while you thought heaven was silent, I was carefully positioning your life for this exact hour. My child, midnight is carrying spiritual importance over your destiny tonight. Midnight is not simply another hour on a clock. Midnight is transition. Midnight is movement. Midnight is the dividing line between what was and what is about to begin. Throughout history, I have always moved powerfully during dark hours because darkness never limits my authority. Chains broke at midnight. Prison doors opened at midnight. Miracles unfolded at midnight. And tonight I am preparing another shift over your life. That is why your spirit feels restless right now. Deep inside, your soul recognizes that something is changing. The atmosphere around your life is not the same anymore. Heaven is moving quietly while the world remains unaware. Spiritual chains that held your thoughts captive are beginning to weaken. Fear is losing authority over your future. The heaviness you carried silently is beginning to crack beneath the weight of my presence entering your life again. But listen carefully to me now, because this part is important. Do not allow fear to make you miss this moment. Do not let distraction steal your attention tonight. The enemy understands how close you are to breakthrough, which is why attacks against your peace intensified recently. Darkness always fights hardest when freedom approaches. The confusion, the emotional exhaustion, the sudden heaviness over your thoughts, none of it was random. It was resistance against the breakthrough heaven already planned to release. Yet no attack against your life has the power to cancel what I'd already decided concerning your future. What I release cannot be stopped by human opinions. It cannot be blocked by delays. It cannot be destroyed by your past mistakes. It cannot be stolen by fear unless you willingly surrender your faith to hopelessness. And tonight I am calling your spirit higher than hopelessness. I am calling you beyond the emotional prison you survived inside for so long. I am calling you into expectation again. My beloved child, I know suffering made your heart cautious. I know disappointment taught you to guard your expectations because hoping became painful after repeated waiting. But this moment requires trust again. This moment requires you to believe that heaven still moves powerfully over your life even after long seasons of silence. Because what I hid for you is no longer remaining buried. The seal is beginning to break. The breakthrough is beginning to move. And before midnight strikes tonight, heaven is preparing to release something over your life that will remind you once again that I never abandoned you, never forgot you, and never stopped fighting for the future I promised your soul from the very beginning. My precious child, there is something I need you to hear clearly tonight because your heart has carried this pain for far too long. I saw every hidden tear you cried when nobody else noticed your suffering. I saw the moments when you locked yourself away from the world because the weight inside your spirit became too heavy to explain. I saw how hard you tried to appear strong while your soul quietly begged for rest. And through every silent battle, every lonely night, every painful thought that kept you awake long after midnight, I remained beside you even when you could not feel my presence. You became an expert at hiding pain. You learned how to smile while your heart quietly broke behind the scenes. You answered people with calm words while anxiety screamed inside your thoughts. You comforted others while secretly wondering who would ever comfort you. And because nobody fully saw your suffering, you began believing you had to carry everything alone. But my beloved child, you were never meant to survive this life carrying hidden sorrow without help. I never designed your heart to become a prison for unspoken pain. I know the nights when tears fell silently onto your pillow while darkness filled the room around you. I know the exhaustion that wrapped around your spirit when disappointment became too familiar. There were moments when you looked around at your life and quietly asked me, "How much longer must I suffer like this?" You prayed for answers. You begged for relief. You waited for signs that things would finally change. Yet the silence around you grew so deep that fear slowly began convincing you nothing would ever improve. But my child, your suffering never escaped my eyes. Every time your chest tightened with anxiety, I saw it. Every time loneliness surrounded your thoughts, I stayed close beside you. Every moment you secretly questioned your worth because rejection wounded your spirit, I was still speaking love over your life even while you struggled to hear my voice. You may have felt invisible to people around you, but you were never invisible to heaven. Type Amen. I trust every promise written for me if God's word is your anchor. I know about the betrayal that changed your heart. I know how deeply certain words wounded your confidence. I know there were people you trusted who became the source of pain instead of peace. You opened your heart sincerely, yet disappointment met you repeatedly until fear taught you to hide your emotions behind walls nobody else could easily cross. Little by little, trust became difficult. Hope became dangerous. Vulnerability began feeling unsafe. And eventually, silence became the place where you buried everything you could no longer explain. But my beloved child, silence was never meant to become your permanent home. I watched you carry emotional burdens nobody else recognized. Some people saw your physical body continuing daily routines, but they never understood the war happening inside your mind. They did not know how exhausted you felt trying to survive emotionally while pretending everything was normal. They did not hear the conversations inside your thoughts where fear battled against faith every single day. They only saw the version of you that kept functioning outwardly while inwardly your spirit became weaker beneath the pressure of hidden pain. There were mornings when you woke up already tired before the day even began. There were nights when sleep escaped from you because worry filled your thoughts without mercy. Your mind replayed disappointments repeatedly. Regret whispered lies into your spirit. Fear painted dark pictures about your future. And slowly, emotional exhaustion became so normal that you stopped expecting peace anymore. You survived each day instead of truly living. My child, I know how many times you felt abandoned emotionally. You looked around hoping someone would fully understand the heaviness in your heart. But words always felt too small to explain what your soul carried secretly. So instead of opening up completely, you stayed quiet. You carried the burden silently because suffering alone felt easier than trying to explain pain nobody else could truly understand. But I understood. I understood every tear hidden behind your smile. I understood every fear buried beneath your silence. I understood every moment when hopelessness whispered that your life would never change. And even while your faith became weak during certain seasons, my love toward you never weakened once. Not once did I look away from your pain. Not once did I become tired of hearing your cries. Not once did I decide your wounds were too deep for healing. My precious child, there were moments when you almost gave up completely. Moments when the future looked empty. Moments when suffering convinced you that peace belonged to everyone except you. You became so emotionally drained that even simple things felt difficult. Joy disappeared from your spirit slowly until surviving became your main focus. And during those painful seasons, the enemy whispered dangerous lies into your thoughts repeatedly. Darkness told you that you were forgotten. Darkness told you that your prayers no longer mattered. Darkness told you that heaven moved for others, but not for you. Darkness told you that your suffering would never end. But none of those voices spoke truth over your destiny. The truth is this: I was carrying you through battles you did not have the strength to survive alone. Every time you endured another painful day despite wanting to quit, my hands strengthened your spirit quietly. Every time peace returned unexpectedly after emotional storms, that was my presence covering your mind. Every time you survived disappointment that should have destroyed your hope completely, heaven was preserving your future even while you felt weak. You must understand something important tonight, my child. Your suffering was never proof that I abandoned you. Sometimes the deepest spiritual preparation happens during hidden painful seasons. Pain exposed wounds inside your heart that needed healing before breakthrough could safely enter your future. Waiting revealed fears that still controlled your thoughts. Loneliness uncovered places where your identity depended too heavily on human approval instead of my voice. And though the process hurt deeply, heaven was using those difficult seasons to shape strength inside your spirit. I know you became tired of hearing phrases like "just keep believing" while your heart silently collapsed beneath unanswered prayers. I know you reached moments where faith itself felt exhausting. But even during those seasons, your spirit never completely let go of me. Deep inside your soul, beyond all the pain, there remained a small cry still reaching toward heaven. And that small remaining faith became the reason darkness could not fully destroy you. The enemy wanted your silent suffering to become permanent. Darkness hoped pain would harden your heart until you stopped expecting miracles completely. Fear wanted to imprison your future inside hopelessness. But I refused to allow your story to end that way. That is why I brought you here tonight. That is why these words are reaching the deepest parts of your soul right now. I am stepping directly into the silent suffering you carried for so long because the season of hidden pain is beginning to break. My beloved child, I did not preserve your life merely for you to continue surviving in sorrow. I preserved you because restoration still belongs to your future. The tears you cried secretly were not wasted tears. Heaven counted every single one. The prayers whispered through exhaustion were not ignored prayers. I heard every word. The nights you spent feeling abandoned were not proof of my absence. I remained near you even when your emotions could not recognize my presence clearly. And tonight I need you to stop carrying shame about your pain. Stop condemning yourself for being emotionally tired. Stop believing your weakness disappoints me. I am not angry at your brokenness. I came to heal it. I am not rejecting your exhaustion. I came to carry it. I am not ignoring your suffering. I am stepping directly into it with healing in my hands. Because before midnight strikes, something hidden inside your spirit must finally begin releasing. The sorrow buried deep within your heart cannot follow you into the next season I prepared for your life. The fear, the loneliness, the emotional chains, the silent despair, all of it must loosen its grip because breakthrough is approaching faster than you realize. You are not forgotten, my child. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible to heaven. I saw every hidden tear, and now I am preparing to answer every silent cry. My beloved child, there is a reason I asked you not to tell anyone about this yet. There are seasons when heaven intentionally hides what it is preparing because not every person around you carries the heart to protect what I am building inside you. Some people only understand blessings after they become visible. Some only celebrate miracles once they can no longer deny them. But while your breakthrough was still growing in hidden places, I covered it carefully because the enemy often attacks hardest during the preparation stage. You wondered many times why your life felt isolated. You questioned why certain relationships changed suddenly. You felt confused when people who once seemed close slowly drifted away from your life. At times it felt painful and unfair. You asked me why loneliness followed you into seasons where you needed support the most. But my child, there are moments when separation becomes protection. There are people who cannot follow you into the future I prepared because their presence would damage the very thing heaven is trying to heal inside you. I know isolation hurt your heart deeply. Human beings were never created to carry pain completely alone. Yet there are hidden seasons where I pull my children away from noise because constant outside voices can interfere with spiritual preparation. If everyone had access to your process, many would have spoken fear into the promises I whispered privately over your soul. Some would have mocked what they could not understand. Some would have planted doubt while your faith was still fragile from suffering. And some would have secretly envied the favor prepared for your future while pretending to support you outwardly. That is why I hid certain things. Not because I wanted to punish you with loneliness, but because hidden preparation creates protected breakthroughs. Even seeds remain buried beneath the ground before becoming visible trees. If a seed is exposed too early, it can be destroyed before roots fully develop. And in the same way, your breakthrough needed hidden time before public release could safely happen. You cried because you felt overlooked while others received attention publicly. You compared your hidden suffering to the visible success around you. You wondered why your journey seemed quieter, slower, and more painful than the paths others walked. But my beloved child, I was building roots inside you that many people around you still lack. Hidden seasons create depth. Silence develops discernment. Waiting strengthens spiritual endurance. And while others focused on appearances, I focused on preparing your soul for something lasting. The enemy watched your life carefully during these hidden seasons. Darkness understood your future carried influence before you fully recognized it yourself. That is why attacks against your peace became so intense. Fear entered your thoughts repeatedly. Confusion surrounded your mind unexpectedly. Emotional heaviness settled over your spirit without warning. The enemy hoped suffering would distract you from realizing what heaven already planned over your future. But even during your weakest moments, I kept my hand over your destiny. There were blessings I intentionally kept away from public eyes because they were too sacred to expose before the appointed hour arrived. And some miracles become damaged when too many voices speak into them prematurely. Human opinions can poison fragile faith. Doubt can weaken expectation. Fear can delay obedience. And because I saw the full picture surrounding your future, I kept certain promises sealed until your spirit became mature enough to carry them confidently. Do you remember the moments when your heart wanted to tell everyone what you believed I was speaking over your life? Yet something deep inside held you back. That hesitation was not confusion. It was my spirit protecting what had not fully unfolded yet. There are revelations that must remain between heaven and the soul receiving them until the proper time arrives. Even Mary carried the mystery surrounding my birth quietly in her heart before the world understood who I truly was. Joseph carried dreams others mocked before those dreams became reality. David was secretly prepared before publicly becoming Tim. Hidden preparation has always been part of my process. My child, your hidden season was not evidence that I forgot you. It was proof that heaven considered your future valuable enough to protect carefully. You interpreted hiddenness as rejection, but I was actually preserving your destiny from interference. While people misunderstood your silence, heaven was strengthening your spirit privately. While others overlooked your suffering, I was building wisdom inside your soul. While darkness attacked your peace, I was quietly preparing breakthrough behind closed doors. I know there were moments when secrecy became emotionally exhausting. You wanted someone to fully understand what your spirit carried. You wanted confirmation that your waiting was not meaningless. But many times, I intentionally limited human understanding around your process because dependence on outside validation would have weakened the intimacy I wanted to build between your heart and mine. I wanted you to learn how to trust my voice even when nobody else around you fully understood the journey you were walking. That hidden season developed something powerful inside you. It taught you how to seek me privately instead of depending completely on human encouragement. It taught you how to survive emotional storms while remaining spiritually connected to heaven. It taught you how to hear my voice beneath noise, fear, disappointment, and silence. And though the process wounded your heart deeply at times, it also created strength inside your spirit that public comfort never could have produced. Comment Amen. God is turning my situation around if you're believing for a divine reversal. And share this video.